Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Ahead of the Curve. I'm David Thomas, this is Bo Gill. We're back at it once again to talk to you about some issues that are taking place here in the city of Shelbyville. And Bo, the first thing that I want to talk about is the flume situation,
Yes.
which people don't know what the flume is. It is a huge pipe, probably 30 feet in diameter. I'm not sure of
Several
that exactly.
people
but it's
could walk
big.
through
Yeah,
side by side.
It's big. And what it does, it takes all the drainage from Madison Street area eastward toward Tullahoma for 2 or 3 or 4 blocks. It takes all the runoff from the celebration grounds, all that higher ground that funnels into Madison Street. So, Bo, we've got all this water coming in mainly from Madison Street. You know the water is slow draining from Madison Street when it comes a
Yes,
real
if you look at the river,
flush.
whenever the river comes, you think, wow, it's not swollen. Well, you wait that evening or the next morning and it swells. It's a slow kind of rise there. And that's why.
You got to think about this too. Before Normandy Dam was put in place, we took all of Manchester's downstream
Yes.
flow. Now, from the dam on, that's where our flooding is coming from. And when they let water out at Normandy, they have to,
Right,
okay,
they have
to regulate the flow right. We're going to get more water when that happens.
Yes, we do.
Then when we have these flash floods coming in, we've got all the tributaries that are between our Duck River Bridge here,
Right.
at the dam here, upstream all the way up to Normandy. All that stuff is running in there and it's accumulating, and that thing swells. It starts out, it swells, and it just comes on down this way, and then we've got the runoff from the city going into there, into the flume area, which there's a huge retention pond right there. If you've seen it at the lake, everybody's looked at it. When it rains hard,
It gets
the thing
high.
fills up.
Yes, it does.
And we have 3 pumps that pump the water up over that levee.
Those are those big things in that
Or
one
through the
little
levee.
chair.
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
called it a chair.
Yeah.
But that's and they're old and they're getting obsolete. If they're not already.
They're way obsolete.
And
they've been obsolete for a long time.
So
Bo.
if you can imagine what David was talking about, the flood, the runoff that comes from, you know, the eastern side of Bedford County and Shelbyville, and then imagine if we didn't have a flume, plus the river rising naturally from the runoff from other areas of the county. Back in the days, it was a disaster. Without that flume system that runs underground and that diverts this water to the river,
Yeah.
we would be in a ton of trouble.
But basically, what protects the city is a levee
Right.
built by the Chamber of Commerce
Yes.
there.
Without that
Yeah.
levee, it would be, you know.
Now the levee is also important because when it snows, everybody has to slide down the
Yeah,
levee.
it's the city snow hill. So I mean,
yeah. But just
it's-
think about it.
It's very important. It's a very important infrastructure that we don't think about. We see the hill, but that's the levee. We see the pumps, but those are the pumps, and when we have those significant rainfalls, it really does its work under the ground that we
Yeah.
don't see a lot of at all. So why are we talking about this? Well, the maintenance of that, it doesn't just, you know, take care of itself. You know, it's a complex, heavily engineered system to handle flood water, and it breaks. And water, anything that deals with water, you're going to have things that go away. Dirt. There's going to be runoff
Yeah.
that occurs, erosion, and then, you know, things don't last forever. So we're at a point now where we've had an engineer report come back with some not so great news that some things need to be maintained, and you know, that's something we need to focus our money on. And when we talk about this, it makes us kind of think about the purchase for the airport recently. You know, a very high, above market value purchase,
3 times market value.
when I think that money needs to take care of what we've got and the important infrastructure that we've got, especially when we have these type of reports that come back.
Yeah, we've got those 3 pumps, and it's going to cost about $1 million a piece to replace those pumps. And the parts, getting parts, they basically have to be made.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're putting parts on a pump that's 60 years old.
Right.
Okay, these things were put in place in the early 60s, I think 61 and 62 in that area, and that puts them at 60 years old. That's the reason I know that is because that's when I was born. All right, I am telling off now. All right, so You've got that situation taking place with the pumps. Then you've got 3 collapses in the last 15 years.
Yes.
In the flume system itself that gets that water across it. Some of you guys remember behind the Chamber of Commerce there was a huge hole, and all through where the police department and the fire department, they had collapses right there.
We've got important buildings and important offices of the city right under that flume, and it was a scary situation when that happened. And since I've been in, I was born and raised in Shelbyville, and that is the most significant I've seen. And it is concerning that when it happens that close together, it's kind of like, when's the next one? Recently we've been fine, but we have periods of heavy rainfall or no rainfall, and then heavy rainfall, and a lot of that dry and wet weather messes with the erosion. It can cause these issues with the Earth's movement.
One thing to think about: once that retention pond fills up, those pumps have to be activated to pump that water over. That's continually to flow in. Now that flow, the retention pond's there to take care of the offset of the flow of the pump versus the flow of the water coming in.
Right.
So when that water starts coming in there, they start pumping that water over the levee
with 60-year-old pumps.
With 60-year-old pumps. When one of them is working 50%, now 2 of them are working 50%, 175 when they're running right.
So the question is, do we keep maintaining something that's obsolete, or do we reinvest into a new pump system?
Well, you're throwing good money after bad money at this point. When you get a 1960 model car, unless it's an antique for show, it's time to get rid of it.
Yes, I agree.
So that's the same type of thing we're looking at here.
I think it's a good place to put money. I think it's something we have to put
keeping
money
your
into.
town from flooding is a good thing. All right,
but
okay.
I say that way and sound elementary, but it seems like that it's been going by the wayside, and that people don't realize how big of a deal it is because it's out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind is exactly right. You get it in, you get it brought back to your mind when you have to raise that floodgate up, and you start thinking about how big of a problem getting that floodgate is up.
Yeah, ask the millions that have been flooded, and the hundreds of thousands recently, even in Nashville and in surrounding areas. It isn't fun to get out of your house.
What happens without the levee system and the pump system? What happens is there's water all the way down, probably to about the Kentucky Fried Chicken
old pictures that I've seen. That's what I've seen.
My dad told me the story of having a riverboat going right down where the post office is on North Main Street. That's what happens when this flume system and the pumps are not in place.
And what does that do to residential development and commercial development through the area? Do you want to invest in something you know is going to be flooded possibly a couple times a year at least? Possibly not, but I think that comes. So without that levee system, we've got usable commercial. We've got our city services there, police department. We've got usable land there. Without it, we have a floodplain.
You've got a lake.
I mean, our main intersection would be flooded at Madison. It would
it
shut down the town. So that I think we've kind of overemphasized the importance of the levee, but it is that important. But it's something we don't see, and it's something that we've got this money, this surplus. It's something I think smart and wise to invest in.
Well, we had $3.5 million go floating north of town, like you were talking about,
I heard
the
about
airport.
that. I didn't see it go, but I would have got it.
So there's $3.5 million went out to that.
Yes.
Okay, and that's up in the air.
Yes.
I wonder if there's any way we can get our money back if that doesn't go through. I don't think so.
I don't, okay, as an appraiser, market trends do change. And if we do, it could be well in the future. I don't see an immediate return on that. And I don't know if we want immediate. It is a great piece of property that has great future potential. We do agree it's in a great location, but probably the airport has the most in it. It's good that they got it before someone else, I guess. But yeah, it seems to be a little steep on current things, and I think the money probably been wiser spent in other areas. But I'm not there, and I didn't make the decision, so that's just my honest opinion. But I do hope that property can bring some positive use, regardless if we get the airport or not. Something out that way. Now that we've got it, we've got it.
Well, we've got a industrial park that's sitting out there empty.
We do.
And we had a groundbreaking on August the 28th, I believe it was,
Yeah.
right during the horse show,
Yes,
or right
sir.
about the horse show, groundbreaking for the battery plant. But unfortunately, we're not getting a battery plant, we're getting a chemical plant. And then the way I understand it, and I went out there and looked, there's not been the ground has not been broke, even though we had a ceremony.
Yes, I think the kind of way it was shaped to be a battery plant, but it's really what's in the battery plant.
Electrolytes.
Yes,
It's a chemical plant.
and it might have to do with batteries,
It
but
does,
it's not the battery.
Yeah.
It is what goes into the battery.
And it's my understanding that they're not building yet.
And I actually was out there 2 days ago, and there's no ground.
There's nothing going on
No,
out there.
there's
Okay,
not.
so that
It's
remains to be
concerning.
seen.
Yes.
The airport remains to be seen.
Yes.
Those two pieces of property right there, the money spent on that would be taking care of our Flume situation. Now, I think the city still has a pretty good chunk of money, and if we don't fix the Flume and the pumps and get that back up right, we're in danger of we're one flood away from having a big mess. And
If the pump, even if the flume doesn't collapse, if the pumps go out, we're in a big mess.
Yeah.
And it has to be done. And I pray and looked up to the servants of our community, the mayor, the city council, to make the right decisions to take care of the citizens of Shelbyville.
And unfortunately, these new city council members and our new mayor is going to have to correct some things that's been done in previous years that goes back probably 30 years.
Yes.
They're behind. They're way behind the curve on what's going on. And I think that there's been in the past some financial crunches that has kept us from doing what we needed to do. And now that we have a surplus, maybe if we still have one, I think now's the time that
And I think
gets taken
that
care of.
that happens locally, it happens on state level, but it happens nationally too. I think a lot of our so-called leaders have kicked the can down
They're not leaders,
generations.
Bo.
I know that's why I use servants, but I said so-called leaders.
So-called.
You know how they,
I know,
so-called.
I know,
I like
I know.
that. But don't you dare call them leaders. They're servants, right?
They're elected representatives.
Elected representatives. That's
Elected
right. But they're
representatives.
servants of us.
Right,
constituents.
and I appreciate them being willing to serve.
Yes, I
Because
do.
I think there's a lot of them that understand that they represent the people. But a few of them think that they're smarter than the people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when you get out of whack.
Yes.
When those elected representatives turn into lords.
Yes,
And
I do.
that's not
I do.
That's not what they are.
And we get things kicked down the kick the can, so to speak, and that's where we're at. And it's not to blame anybody that's not in there now. I think it's just kind of a city government thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to do the hard stuff, and nobody wants to do the hard stuff, and especially the politicians that could be voted out if they do something that's logical that needs to be done, but it's not popular opinion. Taking care of the flume might not be popular because nobody wants to. When your AC goes out of your house, do you really want to spend that money to?
No, but if you want cold air, you do.
That's exactly right, and that's the point I'm trying to make.
I think the average person can understand going to work in a boat versus going to work in a car.
Yes, and that could happen.
That could happen. And to put things in perspective, if the levee was not there and the flume was not in place, you wouldn't be eating at the dinner table because it'd be underwater.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you would have, you talk about police and the firemen having to serve more. That would put so much.
They'd be underwater too.
And you know what? While I'm talking about that, thank y'all for serving, especially during the holidays when you've got little ones at home and can't be there with them, but yet you're providing, you're serving and protecting us. So I want to say thank you to the fire, to the EMS, the first responders, police. Thank you. Hats off. Go get them. That's what I just wanted to say.
There
A
you
little
go.
Christmas.
Yeah.
That's my Christmas card. From us here at Shelbyville
and
now.
we've got a lot of people that serve us.
Yes, but it can't be said enough.
Yeah. And these elected guys that are in there, I think for the most part they're going to use their common sense going forward. I can see a turn towards that. And
I see the like you said, that mentality of a servant to serve the constituents, and that it's not about that I'm smarter than you. You go up there dumb. You don't know. You should be educated, man. But you're representing the people. And
Yeah,
if we can get that back at a local level, I think it can go national.
If the people want the wrong thing, it doesn't matter. That's what the people want.
That's right.
I mean, you have to go that route because that's what you're elected
That's
to
right.
do.
But we don't want to go repeat that
But
kind of thing.
I'm going to tell you, for the most part, people use their common sense and they see what needs to be done. And they know that we've got to keep our streets in good shape. They know that we have to keep our town looking nice, because I hear it all the time. We need to clean things up. They know that we need a good police department for law and order, and they know we need a good fire department. If the city could just do those things right there and let everything else go, the rest of it will take care of itself. We will have businesses come in. We will have people willing to take a risk on the city of Shelbyville if we do those main things right there.
I think so. And then that's just kind of keeping it simple.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
And I think keeping it simple is healthy, but yet being progressive, not in a liberal way, but also learning that time goes by and things change,
Right.
but being progressive in that way.
Well, the word progressive a lot of times is used
Yeah.
flippantly as toward liberal. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're liberal.
I know, but
if you're
nowadays you have to,
yeah.
it's
You
almost
gotta
like
watch it.
you have to preface it by saying,
I
you
know.
know, I'm using this actually how it's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
To
Not
me,
in a political way.
the progressive that you're talking about is we're making progress toward getting things right.
Towards
That's-
yes,
yeah.
that's right, and theirs is an agenda,
Right, yeah.
on the other side. And
The
it's more
blow
of a-
past.
yeah.
There's a lot of heritage we have in Bedford County and Shelbyville.
Yes.
We need to preserve it.
preserve that
And at the
progress
same time,
because
grow
the
on
time,
top of- yeah.
because time is moving.
Yeah.
And there are things that change, but we can keep what we've got here, and we
Oh, yeah.
need to know, and we need to teach about our local history more.
Yeah.
And things, but that's a whole different topic.
Yeah, different topic for a different time.
Definitely.
Guys, thanks for watching. If you see an elected representative of the city and you want to voice your concern to them, please do that. I know that we're going to have some public meetings for people to give their opinions on these things. I know Mayor Randy Carroll's going to have a lot of those, and we look forward to that and look forward to giving coverage to that. But in the meantime, if you see an elected representative, a city councilman, or even the mayor, just give them your opinion. They want to hear it.
Yes.
Guys, thanks for watching. Bo,
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Guys,
Merry Christmas, and if we don't see you, Merry
yeah.
Christmas to
Merry
everyone.
Christmas to everybody.
Yes,
And
definitely.
we'll see you real soon.